allow the two children to have the budget every year.
It's okay. Off your mind. It's okay.
She
Off your mind.
Chai! Now wow, people wey suppose talk truth to power don off mic. And if we talk, na 500,000 they go sama us, call am hate speech. But fear not, Mayegun don come. Him go torchlight every corner, nooks and cranny of all these bad people wey dey spoil our country. So my people make we loud, oh yo yo. Mayegun don come, oh yo yo. My people make we shout, oh yo yo. Mayegun don come, oh yo yo. Mayegun don come, man of the masses, oh yo yo. Mayegun don come, oh yo yo. Mayegun diary politico, oh yo yo. Mayegun don come, oh yo yo. This one na dey off in mind, oh yo yo. Mayegun don come, oh yo yo. And in dey touchlight every corner, oh yo yo. Mayegun don come, oh yo yo. Okay, some people be dey holla say dem want the power. Chai, dem be promise us say we go get light and power. Dem hustle sote they can't get the power. But now they know they do anything with the power. Every day, dollar just they get the higher power over Naira. Still them talk say make we off mind. But thank God say Mayegun don come. So my people make you loud, oh yo yo. Mayegun don come, oh yo yo. My people make we shout, oh yo yo. Mayegun don come, oh yo yo. Mayegun don come, man of the masses, oh yo yo. Mayegun don come, oh yo yo. Mayegun diary politico, oh yo yo. Mayegun don come, oh yo yo. This one not dey off in mind, oh yo yo. Mayegun don come, oh yo yo. Person wey dey do evil no one make person talk. Them say that Mayegun, that man too dey talk. He too dey talk. Say Mayegun diary, he dey hot like pepper. But every day, then they take money in bulk. Poor man pikin, dey the street, dey hawk. Still them talk say, make we no talk. But thank God say, Mayegun don come. So my people make you loud, oh yo yo. Mayegun don come, oh yo yo. Mayegun làwa mọ̀ làmọ̀ tó dòdòdò. Mayegun diary, Mayegun number one. Mayegun làwa mọ̀ làmọ̀ tó dòdòdò. Mayegun diary, Mayegun number one. Mayegun ti dé o, ọ̀rẹ́ ara ìlú. Mayegun diary, Mayegun number one. Lórí Facebook, lórí YouTube. Mayegun diary, Mayegun number one. Gbogbo bó ṣe ń lọ ni Mayegun já wa sí. Mayegun diary, Mayegun number one. Àṣírí ọ̀jẹ̀lú kì í bò níbẹ̀ o. Mayegun diary, Mayegun number one. Bó bá ṣe eré, àní Mayegun máa wí. Mayegun diary, Mayegun number one. Ó sì tún ṣe eré, wàá gbọ́ níbẹ̀ o. Mayegun diary, Mayegun number one. Mayegun diary, diary politico. Mayegun diary, Mayegun number one. Godfatherism kò sí lọ́rọ̀ Mayegun. Mayegun diary, Mayegun number one. Ẹ farabalẹ̀ sẹ́ o kẹgọ́rọ̀ lẹ́nu o. Mayegun diary, Mayegun number one. Àní Mayegun làwa mọ̀ tó dòdòdò. Mayegun diary, Mayegun number one. Àní ẹ̀sùn ràkì. Mayegun ti dé. Mayegun ti dé. Ọ̀jẹ̀lú ẹ̀sùn ràkì. Mayegun ti dé. Àní ẹ̀sùn ràkì. Mayegun ti dé. Lórí Facebook. Mayegun ti dé. Àní ẹ̀sùn ràkì. Mayegun ti dé. Lórí YouTube. Mayegun ti dé. Àní ẹ̀sùn ràkì. Mayegun ti dé. Bọ́ bàbá gbé wúrẹ́. Mayegun máa wí. Àní ẹ̀sùn ràkì. Mayegun ti dé. Ijó ìgbádìí yẹ. Mayegun máa wí. ẹ̀sìn tó bá rúfin o. Máyégún wà ní. Àní ẹ̀sùn ra jù. Máyégún.
Today. Hello there. Good morning to you. Good afternoon to you. And good evening to you from wherever you are joining us. This is Mayegun Live. Thank you so much, brethren, for joining me again. And as we are counting down to the end of the year, it's been a terrific year for us in the Temple of Truth. A lot has happened, and now, can you believe it? It is just 4 days to Christmas and then 10 days to the end of 2024 and the beginning of 2025. It's been so wonderful to have had all of you on Mayegun's Diary Politico. I know I have similar message I'm going to deliver at the end of the year, but it's unbelievable how fast life goes at times and how much of this is being taken away or wasted away by the criminals in charge of Nigeria. How much of people's lives are being wasted away and how fast it goes, you know. Anyway, read the caption of this broadcast as usual. Read the description of the broadcast. Like it. Share it. Invite your friends. Invite your not so friendly friends. Tell them all that Mayegun today, Mayegun is live. And thank you. Tonight, we have a sweet sour. It's not really sweet sour, it's pure sour. You know, while others are celebrating what they call Dirty December, I don't think it is the same for so many families in Nigeria, especially the families of the victims of the stampede in Ibadan at Okija, as well as in FCT, Abuja. All that happened in the last 48 hours, which have seen to the sudden death, tragic death of over 70, over 70 people, including children, in Nigeria, because of the level of poverty that the APC, Egbekegbe, has brought upon that country and the people. Although the people themselves are not completely innocent, as they say, what you should be very careful of what you wish for. We have those who are enablers of bad governance, enablers of all these crooked criminals, those who continue to validate them in that contraption. But the unfortunate thing is, those who enable these criminals who have hijacked power in Nigeria and misruling and ruining Nigeria are not, the only people that are going to face the consequences of their actions. Innocent people, including those who rejected them, who did everything to reject these rogues, are going to share or are sharing in the destruction of that contraption as we speak. Economically, Tinubu and his gang have destroyed Nigeria beyond any repair. It is, again, unfortunate that there are those who believe that, they cannot be held responsible for this destruction, for this economic ruin wholly, but they are responsible for every death that is preventable in that contraption from the 2015 when they hijacked power in that contraption. So again, their supporters, their defenders, their enablers are not the only people that are going to share in these consequences. Innocent people, innocent children are now being killed every day from one tragedy to another. But again, the Tinubu and his gang, like I've said many times on this platform, they will feed you with propaganda. You will hit propaganda to the point that some of you begin to ask yourselves, are this guy talking about this same Nigeria, or they are talking about another Nigeria? Of course, they are talking about this same your Nigeria, where a lot of you are comfortable with the lies, and you probably love to also ignore the data by becoming superstitious, in the sense that you will ignore data and you begin to point to this your sky daddy, the miracle worker, or the magician, because there's nothing where God no fit do. Even when the criminals' actions are pointing to a direction of ruin and destruction, economic destruction, their religious partners, the pulpit bandits, as well as the Islamic jihadists, who are kind of like defending these rogues, at the same time pointing your attention or diverting your attention to something so stupid as using religion as a cover, where they are going to make you believe that, you see, if you pray very well, if you have faith, and if you have belief, whatever it is that is happening to people in Nigeria economically will not happen to you. So you have to be strong and all of that nonsense. They are the partners of these rogues anyway, where you ignore data and begin to hope on falsehood, on lies, blaspheming against your God or your sky daddy, so to say. It's unfortunate. So on Mayegun's diary political, we kind of do our best to ensure that data, which is very stubborn, data don't lie, okay? And no matter how much people try to gaslight you, blackmail you, in any way, if you stick to data, you will never be wrong. On Mayegun's diary political, we barely ever be wrong. We've never really been wrong, especially when we are treating the available information about these rogues, Tinubu, APC, Egbekebe, and everything about them, which reeks of lies. We've never been wrong. But you are dealing with chronic career criminals. So yesterday, Wale Idun was on channels. And this is one thing I personally also detest about the media in Nigeria. I believe that majority of them are just so daft, or they are the product of the society they have, created. You see, the criminal politicians will come on here to your studio and they will be dishing out lies, but you will be so afraid to confront them with facts, with the truth. As much as they probably have the power to shut you down, but you hold the people the responsibility of sharing the truth, the state of things. When you see somebody that claims to be the person in charge of your economy, the finance minister of the druggy call, I'm talking about Wale Idun, he is there not using data, no data, just words, talks. And you as media interviewing somebody like that should arm yourself with verifiable data, facts, rather than just listening to somebody that continue to use innuendos, a fake figure, fake data that cannot be verified by anybody. So your job as a media is to confront them with the truth, confront them with facts for facts, not fiction. Unfortunately, it seems like the Nigeria media is a platform for propaganda, and APC, Egbekebe, they have acted. Nigeria is going through hell right now. Economically, Nigeria is battling with what is called hyperinflation. How many of you can believe that when these guys took over power, in 2015 to start with, the inflation in Nigeria was 7.5%. How many of you can still remember or believe that? That the Nigeria GDP, rebased economy at the time, was put at $570 billion. You had businesses that were operating in that place, right? You had jobs. People had jobs. In fact, majority of those who brought this APC, Ecpnomic, to power, they used their personal money to campaign, to run campaign for APC, Ecpnomic, because they had jobs. Today, majority of them have either run out of Nigeria or they have turned to Bambi Alas, the what we call the executive beggars online. Begging now became a pastime. It has become a job for so many people. 9 years after APC, Ecpnomic. How many of you remember that the inflation in Nigeria was 7.5% in 2015? The one that APC said was a terrible economy. 9 years down the line, first with Bukwari. Bukwari destroyed Nigeria economy, devalued Nigerian currency, debased Nigeria economy, crashed it into half. Baba, in 8 years, Bukwari destroyed Nigeria economy that was $570 billion worth down to 230 billion. I mean, 250 billion. Like more than half of Nigeria economy was lost under Bukwari. And within a year, that same economy under Tinubu has crumbled. Baba, Bukwari in 8 years destroyed Nigeria economy to the point that inflation jumped to 20.5% in 8 years. Do you know something? Within the space of 18 months, 1 year, 6 months, Tinubu, the Oluwole accountancy, Deloitte accountancy, destroyed Nigeria economy, Baba, from 20% inflation, which was almost hyperinflation itself, by the way, to what is now 36% inflation, 16% collapse, 16% devaluation of your own economy, hyperinflation at the highest. But guess what? The Wale Idun and Co., they have the audacity to be saying it and repeating it, that Nigeria economy is recovering. That Tinubu saved you. He saved you from economic ruin. How is that saving you? That is what you call propaganda. They will lie to your face. Nigeria Naira was 148 Naira official to $1 when these criminals took over power. At the black market, Nigeria Naira was 199 Naira to $1 when these criminals took over power 9 years ago. Today, Nigeria Naira is 1,760 Naira to $1. And guess what? Tinubu saved you. In 8 years, Nigeria Naira collapsed from 149 Naira to $1 to 610 Naira to $1. And within 18 months of Tinubu, Nigeria Naira collapsed to 1,760 Naira to $1. So he saved you. Bukwari printed 27.5 trillion Naira in 8 years. Tinubu has printed to over 25 trillion Naira in 18 months. But they saved you. They have the audacity to say that. And the guy is saying that everything is coming down now. The price of goods coming down. People are now able to afford things. And this is what you call propaganda. In the same breath, people are dying from trying to get a bag of rice. They are dying from trying to get 5,000 Naira and plate of food in an economy that is recovering. A liter of petroleum was, damn it, man, 97 Naira per liter. They said, Nigeria, what do you call it? They said it should have been 14 Naira per liter of petroleum. Nigerian refineries were working at over 55% capacity when this, I don't know if all of you even remember any of this anymore. Do you know that Nigerian refineries, Wario, partially Kaduna, this Port Harcourt, old and new refinery, do you know that they were actually like working at over 55% capacity? That Nigeria was importing 45% of its local consumption at the time. And Nigeria was paying just somewhere around the 250 billion naira on subsidy before these rogues came in. Do you even remember that anymore? Did anybody actually still remember that? Because it's been so short a while that people have forgotten what they rejected before they embraced these criminals. Do you remember that at all? That the subsidy in Nigeria that Jonathan was paying was between 200 and 250 billion naira a year. And the Nigerian refineries were working at over 55% capacity. Do you remember that at all? Okay, I am reminding you. It doesn't really matter anymore. Because the rogues who told you that you deserved better, what did they do? Nigeria's debt, the Nigeria's national debt was put at $13.5 billion. Today, Nigeria's national debt is over $120 billion. The exchange rate was 149 naira to $1 official. Today, it is 1,760 naira to $1. We were told 1.2 million Nigerians were displaced living in IDP camps across Nigeria. Today, the number has grown to over 10 million Nigerians displaced from their homes living in IDP camps. 3.5 million children were out of school 9 years ago. Today, there are over 22 million out of school children. Nigeria was generating over 8,000 megawatt of electricity, distributing over 6,000 of the same electricity. Today, 9 years after, Nigeria is struggling to generate 5,000 megawatt electricity, distributing less than 2,000 megawatt electricity. Is that progress or retrogression? A liter of petroleum was 97 naira per liter when these rogues took over. Today, a liter of petroleum is over 1,000 naira. The number of poor people in Nigeria, according to the available record in Nigeria before these rogues, was put at 67 million Nigerians living below poverty line. Today, the number is over 140 million Nigerians living below poverty line. And out of that, 120 million Nigerians are facing what is called famine, food starvation in 2025. Where is the progress? These guys they keep claiming to be sharing money, right? From paying APC, man. You do not hate APC enough. Unfortunately, the level of their state capture is legendary. And today, they will force feed you. It's not even like something you are going to take peacefully. They will force feed you with propaganda so much that you'll be asking, you'll probably be so lost, confused if they are talking about this Nigeria. Listen to this mofo from Ngozi Okonjo-Iweala as your finance minister and the person managing your economy, to this clown, old man that is lying, criminals with confidence in that contraption.
Well, let me put it in context for you. As I was saying earlier, the first thing I will say is that things have changed. In 18 relatively short months, President Bola Ahmed Tinubu has changed the Nigerian economy, has changed the Nigerian society in such a way that is now faced in the right direction, and one can see a clear path, not to just so many other targets, important targets and indicators, but even to lower inflation through achieving market pricing of petroleum products and achieving market pricing of foreign exchange. The change in the economy represents 5% saving. From now, ad infinitum, a 5% of GDP saved from being wasted, being of no value to the economy, and benefiting just a few who had privileged access to foreign exchange and to subsidized foreign exchange and to petroleum products that were distributed in a very opaque manner, and of course benefiting neighboring countries that were getting smuggled petroleum products. So that saving is now going to be revenue to government that helps to not just build up the fiscal capacity of government, the government's ability to meet its spending requirements, both for social spending and infrastructure, but it changes all the metrics. But as your revenue increases, your debt service as a percentage of GDP goes down. As your revenue increases, your deficit as a percentage of GDP goes down. So the country is faced in the right direction in terms of all the metrics that you talk about, including inflation. And of course, there's major interventions in agriculture and even in manufacturing to increase supply and bring down prices. But the other way in which the society has changed fundamentally and therefore is no longer on the trajectory which you describe is in terms of the incentive framework. There's no Nigerian that wake up today and feel that his best way forward, his best way to riches or even to a good living is to have privileged access to foreign exchange allocated from central bank. That no longer exists. Similarly, no Nigerian can wake up and feel that his best chance is to get an allocation, a concession, a permit related to petroleum products and be one of the privileged people that have this access, which they can just trade the piece of paper. That was the refrain 18 months ago, that these are the ways to make it in Nigeria. Instead now, the emphasis and the incentive is on agricultural production, agricultural exports, manufacturing, and manufactured exports for the West Africa region and even for the continent as a whole. So that is the way in which the changes that have been wrought and that are being sustained but with determination, with courage and boldness by Mr. President and his administration are giving Nigerians much optimism and hope that things are definitely going to be better and in the nearest future.
Could you make any sense of that? Can anybody please make any sense of what this guy just said? What you just heard now. Can you make any sense of that? Blabbing. Like, oh my God. So when I try to want to make a sense of what he's saying, the more I try, the more angrier I kind of feel. That was supposed to be a country where you have educated people, okay? And it couldn't really make a clear, straight sentence. Then dropping fundamentally direction of fundamental. The Nigerian society has changed fundamentally. What does that even mean? What is changed fundamentally? What does that mean? Like for good or for the gutters. Now take a look. He said something like nobody can wake up anymore and think it can be allocated petrol. Who is allocating petrol to who in Nigeria? Before, I mean, have you ever heard anything like that? Like allocate petrol to people, that they can just get allocated petrol. Like who is allocating petrol to who? It says something like, people cannot just wake up and then get allocated. They think they can just get allocated dollars from the central bank. Are they still not doing it? Are they still not doing their normal round tripping? Didn't they announce that the Bureau de change in Nigeria, which according to them, they were the reasons why Nigerian Naira was crashing. So therefore, they banned them, right? And then they told them to go and pay a certain amount of money so that they will get another new license issued by them, by these Tinubu guys. And then they are celebrating sharing dollars to them, telling them how much to sell dollars. Is that not a kind of a public information? That's available in everywhere, Nabi. Were they not telling you that they distributed over 1.5 billion? They did distribute over 1.5 billion. Just as recent, the Akadobi shared over $1.5 billion to Bureau de change in Nigeria so that they can control how much exchange rate is in Nigeria. Is that not round tripping? But this is not the same guys who told you that market forces will determine how much the dollar naira will exchange for and how much petrol and what have you will be sold for, blah, 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 market forces. Like, what is he talking about? It's saying something about direction of agriculture. Hello. I remember when Egbere Jolantan, before this Boko Haram of a thing, and then the Fulani terrorists took over. Nigeria used to have a silo. Yeah. Oh my God, like, there are things that you used to have in that place. So now they are like, if I try to remind some of you, they are going to be sounding like I'm talking about 1960. But this was just 9 years ago. 9 years ago, Nigeria. Less than a decade. All the things, you used to have farms funded by the federal government of Nigeria. You used to have reserves for food, grains. When Boko Haram came in 2015, in his effort to try to want to combat hunger in northern Nigeria, I don't know if you remember, well, internet doesn't forget. You can use your other phone right now and Google this. 210 trucks of grains were released from the National Reserve. That National Reserve right now no get any single bag of grain. For 9 years, APC, Egbekede, has been unable to grow food or harvest anything, talk less of preserving or saving anything. For 9 years, they took a loan of $2 billion from the African Development Bank, where this guy is, Akinwumi Adesina. They gave Nigeria $2.4 billion to fund agriculture in Nigeria. But guess what? Half of the farms, which were mostly in northern Nigeria, half of the farms, when it was time for them to harvest, Boko Haram took over those farms. In Borno, in Sokoto, in all these places. They took over the farms. That was why they bagged sawdust, sand, and what they call the rice paddy to build a fake rice pyramid in Abuja that they have harvested rice. And yet, the price of food never changed. It kept going up and up and up and up. Food inflation in Nigeria, because it was fake. They needed to justify that the money they took from African Development Bank, AFDB, that it was a success, but it wasn't. Central Bank of Nigeria, that's part of the loan Nigeria is owing now. $2.4 billion entered Canal because of the insecurity, because of the Fulani terrorism, because of the Boko Haram, especially from northern part of Nigeria. They had to put up a fake pyramid, rice pyramid in Abuja. Emefiole and gang. They took Boko Haram there. You saw the, you remember now, I can bring you the video and ask them, where is the rice afterward? Because it was fake. So can anybody tell me where is Nigeria government, Tinubu's government, currently funding agriculture and where those farms are in Nigeria? Till tomorrow, if you go and Google where they spent Jonathan's money, Jonathan's money on agriculture is online. Go on now and check it. Kirby, especially in Kirby. These guys emptied the national silo of Nigeria and they've added not a single grain to that up to today. Now they are what? They are importing the rice that they are bagging and sharing. That is why if you have any problem, flooding, they will give you rice. If you have complaint of unemployment, they will give you rice. If you are complaining of poor security, they will give you rice. Whatever it is your problem that you are complaining about, they will give you rice. Imported rice. And that's a new contract for the boys to bring in rice from all over the world so that they can back them and share rice. I wonder why they are not sharing rice this December like they did last December, remember? But the coordinating minister of economy, Wale Idun, is blabbing on national television, telling you that Tinubu is taking you to a new direction, a better direction. And so in December 2025, when your Shege, when your Bedu enter body very well, okay, they will be ready again to tell you how much Tinubu saved you as well. So supposed to be economists. Are these the economists? This one.
Not at all. I don't think so. I think the CNG rollout is underway. The buses are being have been ordered, are being assembled, are being delivered, and are being distributed. And in the first instance, it is the labor unions in particular and student unions that have benefited. And even today, we made arrangements to make more available to them. But let me put in context what you say is making a bad case worse. Without the steps that were taken, what was the situation of Nigeria? Living on overdraft, headed for a fiscal crisis based on the fact that oil revenue was low, theft was rampant, insecurity plagued the land, both in the agriculture and negatively affected not just the social life, agriculture negatively affected the all-important oil sector. That was the situation. And in turning that situation around, and as I say, stabilizing government finances by taking what a few had and giving it to the many, it is something that governments around the world are struggling with. Being able to balance their finances, being able to put government expenditure and revenue on a sustainable basis. If you look at Europe, if you look at the likes of France and Germany, that is what they are struggling with now. Having achieved that, it is a question of mathematics. You say to yourself, okay, 5% of GDP each year is being saved. It means that the revenues to government from that core source will be increasing every year ad infinitum. And that creates and has created a relatively stable, more stable economic environment. The exchange rate that you talk about running away, if anything, it is coming back. It is now, it was once as high as 17, 18, 1900. It is now 1535. That is positive. The budget deficit is down from 6.1% to 4.4% or thereabouts at the end of the second quarter. The trade balance is positive. The current account surplus is positive. It is 11.5% of GDP. We have over 1 year's coverage of imports. The standard is six months. What we made, what President Bola Ahmed Tinubu made, was less than one month, less than 1% coverage of the current account balance as a percentage of GDP. So these are all the positive trends that have created the basis for us to be confident that, given the stability that is now coming to the Nigerian economy, investors, domestic investors and foreign investors will come to the table. We have described what has happened in the sector. For the individuals, for the poorest and most vulnerable, the direct payments, which have now reached 25 million households, a series of direct payments efficiently made. As we know, at first, that all-important exercise didn't go according to plan and went back to the drawing board. And we now have a process whereby the beneficiaries on the social register that are intended to receive a series of direct payments into their accounts are uniquely and biometrically identified through being given a NIN, and they are digitally provided with the funds by a BVN through a bank account or a digital wallet. So you have a very robust system that will stand the test of time for intervening directly and helping Nigerians who, when they receive those funds, can decide what their priority is.
Nuisance Lele. Nuisance Lele.
There is nothing called social register for poor people. When Tinubu was reading that 2025 copy and paste budget, he said that they have shared over 25 billion naira to students who needed student loan. This same Wale Idun said they have shared over 90 billion to over 500,000 students for student loan. This is how they drop their normal figures. But if you pay attention to what they are saying, you can see through the lies. This same Wale Idun said that they have given 25,000 naira to 25 million households in Nigeria through their banks, through the bank accounts. But this bank account doesn't exist. They don't exist. So when we put all of that together, it was like saying we have shared over 625 billion naira in 3 months, he said, in 3 months. Now, he just repeated that again in that interview. And I expect the interviewer to say, okay, there must be a data we can prove further. Can you tell us the banks, that is, the banks that are helping with all these accounts of these 25 million Nigerians, poorest Nigerians, who are being paid 25,000 naira every month? So when we put all that together, this is like 625 billion naira. But it is not true. There is no evidence of that. They are doctoring vital information, data, and they don't care. They just roll it out. They just say it. You can't question it. If you question it, right, they will add another lie. If you try to, they will add another lie. And if you are not, if you are too persistent, like, you are not giving up, then they will call you enemy of the country. Who doesn't like good news? 25 million people is not a mean number. There is no national register. One of the things that got the Minister of Disaster, Poverty Increment, that was Omo Beta Edu, was that she stole over 9 billion naira, but she didn't steal it alone. According to the report, Beta Edu paid consultants to help them develop the poor people's register, because the minister before her, Shadia Farouk, that ministry was opened as a compensation for Shadia, the former Bokwari's girlfriend. In case if you don't know, when Bokwari was still able to knock in the 80s, Shadia, a very young Shadia, was reported to be, a regular, girlfriend of Bokwari. They usually cook for Bokwari and his friends, even though Bokwari was to later marry a young Aisha. Long story. So she was compensated. It was Pastor Ruga who started the idea of sharing money in what they called helping the poor people, or giving poor people money to start business, like give them 10,000 naira to start a business. It was Pastor Ruga. So after the 2019 charade election, they took it away from Pastor Ruga and they opened a shop, a ministry of humanitarian disaster management and poverty increments for Shadia. And Shadia was supposed to develop a national register where all the poor people will register, so that every penny they give to them can be accounted for. Shadia will now go about and gather poor people. They may gather poor people in Mararaba. They will give them 5,000 and take their picture. Those ones will flash the money. Shadia will go back and say, Omo Shadia was like Allah Joshomolu, who collected a thrift from from 1,000 people, and he never wrote them down. He never write anything down, and he never made mistake. Allah Joshomolu. That was exactly the character of Shadia. Shadia's ministry was supposed to develop a register to say people that collected money. This was how much they collected from this part of the country and that. But no, Shadia became a philanthropist. Wherever she goes, she goes with a bag of money. Then they will take pictures of people. So when the Tinubu guys came in, what did the Beta do? What did she do? She hired consultants to help them because there was no register. Shadia shared over 600 billion. Can you believe that? Shadia, for 4 years, Shadia shared over 4 trillion naira. 4 trillion naira to poorest people in Nigeria. And there was no single account. There was no single account. Well, that's what they told us. That's what Omo Beta said. So Omo Beta now shared 9 billion naira. 9 billion naira to consultancy. There was this guy, the wife, supposedly, the wife of the Minister of Interior, Olubumi Ojo. Olubumi Ojo has a company, his own SPV company, special purpose vehicle. This is how they run their scams, okay? They call them SPV. So Olubumi Ojo had a company. And that business was registered in, you won't believe this, so it was registered in May 2023. Now, this Olubumi Ojo's company became a consultant to the Ministry of the Ministry of Humanitarian Disaster and Poverty Increment. So he said he resigned from it, that it was his wife that is managing it. And he can't stop his wife from collecting contract from government. So they paid Olubumi Ojo's wife 670 million naira to help them develop the register for poor people in Ekiti, poor people in Ogun State, poor people in Ondo State, 3 states. Just give us the names of the poor people. Take this is around the 60 million, it's around 70 million naira. That's how the Omobeta shared over 9 billion naira. So when Omobeta got exposed, as we trace the money to left, right, and center, who got what? They suspended her. That was how Wale Idun took over the pots for sharing money. Do you know that? Do you remember that? Because this is me just giving you a flashback now. That is why Wale Idun can tell you that in his own time, he has shared 625 billion naira to 25 million Nigerians through their BVN bank accounts, but they've never told us which bank is running it. Which bank is running it? What and what bank? Because 25 million people is not a small number. That's practically saying about 70 million Nigerians are benefiting from this money. And these guys have already, they have claimed that they have shared over 1.25 trillion naira. This is number that normally, man. Oh yeah, so then Tinubu has done so well to make sure that the poor people, they said they gave the money to the poor people so that the poor people can determine what they wanted to use the money for. But we are yet to see anybody to come out and claim they collected any money. How could people be so callous? Like, how can they be this so, like, cold-hearted? It is sad. Honestly speaking, it is. When they tell you that they are lifting people out of poverty, guy, they are actually lifting themselves out of poverty. That's what I've seen. Yeah, they are not lifting any of you out of any poverty. They are dipping you into it through their economic policies. And they will use propaganda to get you so confused that you begin to wonder, like, I may get problem. You see, I don't understand. Are they talking about? I don't get it. They will run you mad. They will run you crazy. Eh? It's not how this grandma, Loretta Onoche, took a camera guy and went all about in this sawdust bagged rice pyramid. Sawdust pyramid in Abuja with confidence. Where are the bag of rice now?
Everyone should come and see this. Everyone should come and see this. This is marvelous. This is wonderful. I have been hearing about it over the last few weeks. And then today, I'm so delighted to be here. Look at this. This is all rice. Look at this. Just look at this. Just look at this. Look at this. Surrounded by rice. God bless the Nigerian farmer. God bless Baba Buhari. Say Baba. Say Baba Buhari. This is rice. Made in Nigeria rice. It's not foreign. Oh. This one not be China. Oh. This one not be Thailand. Oh. This one are Niger. Original Niger rice with flavor. With good taste. This one. Say Baba. See rice. See rice. I have never seen something like this. This is brilliant. This is wonderful. I just love the ambience of this place. I love this place. Woo! This is, just look at. Just have a look at. Just have a look at. Just watch.
Watch more.
Just watch. And all of them have thank you, Baba Buhari, on them. Very appreciative Nigerian farmers. Most of them benefited from the Anchor Borrowers Program. And here are their products. They are here. At the Abuja Trade and Convention Center. Everyone should come and see. Look at, we are still going. We are still going. See what we have here. See what we have here. See, this is rice. This is rice. Go ahead.
Yeah.
Rice. Ooh, rice. Rice, millions upon millions of them. Yes. See. Just look at. Did you hear that? This government is working. Look at it. Anchor Borrowers Program. Thank you to Central Bank. Thank you to our young men and women who have taken to agriculture. Just look at what we have here. This is all rice. Rice. Brilliant. I just love this. Behind me is rice. On my left is rice. In front of me is rice. Everywhere is rice. Rice. And here we come to the last pyramid. It's so lovely. Here. Woo! Beautiful. Wow. Although there's no way I'm not coming back here. I'll be coming back here to see what is happening here again. Thank you, Buhari. Thank you, everyone. Thank you, Nigerians. Thank you.
Huh.
Wow. I should come and see this.
Waiting they never try with Nigerians. What kind of lies or propaganda APC, Egbekebe, never tried with Nigerians? And whenever they are propagating their fraud like that, they expect you not to use your sense. So, like if you mistakenly say, how can you display rice party in the open like this? What if it rains? Shut up your mind. It cannot rain. The weather said that it can. That's why we need to show to you that we are working. That's why to show to you that Bokwari is there. So we have to bring the rice from all over the farms, all over Nigeria. Bring them to Abuja to show you. Because if we don't show you now, all of you won't believe that, Bokwari was working. That wasn't rice. That was just sawdust, sand that they bagged. This was the level at which APC, Egbekebe, the level of evil that they represent. They met a bag of rice at 7,000 naira, 50 kg bag of rice was 7,000 naira, 7,500 naira 9 years ago. But by the time Bokwari was done with the rice pyramid, a bag of rice was over 30,000 naira. So if you now ask, what happened to the rice pyramid? What happened to the rice? Shut up your mouth. Stop. You need to think good about Nigeria. We cannot, you should not, instead of you to celebrate what we have just shown you, you are there questioning it. They don't want you to question anything. They want you to just agree and, even if it doesn't really make any sense. By the time APC, by the time they are done with Nigeria, Syria will be like paradise when they are done with you. 2 days ago, we were talking about the stampede in Ibadan, where children were trampled upon and they died. 35 of them died, actually. 35. And why? It was because they needed free food. The wife of the honey of Ife, the ex-wife, Naomi, was sharing money and invited women and their children to come. Ordinarily, they shouldn't bring children to such uncontrolled, crowd in any way, but your child or your children will be your ticket to getting 5,000 naira, £2. People have become so poor, so wretched under APC, across Nigeria. Nowhere is spared, nowhere. We are yet to recover from that. When the news from Okija, Obi Jackson, there's this guy called Obi Jackson, who usually share food every December whenever he goes back to his hometown or his village, Okija. But this year, which is like the 18th month after Tinubu and his economic jackass took over Nigeria, it's different this year. It's like more people. Usually, right, the reason why you see people die in this kind of situation is because when you look around and you see the number of people, hungry people, who want to participate in this freebie, and then you look at yourself and you look at what they are about to share, there's a chance that you will never possibly benefit. So it will now be the first come, first serve. Stampede will follow. Thousands of people showed up at Okija because they have become poorer too in Anambra State. Papa, women, grown-up adults, children, over 30 of them died. Papa, I can't show you the video. You probably should have seen the video. If you have been online earlier today, you should have seen it. Free rice. Nigerians are losing their lives for free food. Ecpnomic in Nigeria of APC. Similarly, at Trinity Church in Abuja, where they were also sharing food. Again, another 10 people lost their lives. And an unknown number of them actually got injured because they were struggling to benefit from this free food. In Nigeria, that is getting better. In Nigeria, that is recovering. But everybody knows that it is not recovering. You are sinking and sinking and sinking even like further than, the way you are going. You are likely going to, you are going to discover crude oil. The way Nigeria is sinking right now, even though you have crude oil anyway, but I'm talking about the crude oil of Shege. Come and see dead bodies, corpses of people, adult, grown-up women, not children, grown-up people, litter they litter the ground around the house of Obi Jackson because of the 5 kg bag of rice. Somebody said that people always become unruly. This is not. In fact, people have been trying to change the narrative as well. They are saying that this is not poverty. It is always a Nigerian thing that we are impatient. We do not have we don't like to follow the order. Orderly kidney. Have you ever been so like poor? I'm talking about poor. It's only when you're like a poor, that you hear that they are sharing rice somewhere and you go there that you want to go and collect because you can't afford it. This is not something like, okay, somebody's sharing food and they are coming to your house. When I was in Ijebu, they usually bring food to our houses. And sometimes they say, we shouldn't take the food. I mean, there are those who are superstitious that believe that if you take all this food, they are taking your destiny. About which destiny? Destiny where my destiny good. Now I don't get money to buy a bag of rice. Which destiny are they taking? Take the destiny, give me a bag of rice, Joe. We never used to go and queue. But things have changed a lot. things have changed a lot in Nigeria. The population is growing, so is the poverty. Grown up people on the floor, like, what kind of trauma will make me just die like that in a crowd? That means there are people who are already like, they are half dead, walking corpses, and then plenty for that Nigeria. Walking corpses, people who are going through a lot. Some of them have not eaten for days. You won't believe it. But they are suffering and smiling. They are. So any small push like this, I will know. I mean, what will make people lose consciousness and just die? I mean, it will level pushing one year. Because I can't really wrap my head around, I can't wrap my head around it, you know. I mean, like, just like that, they go straight bench. What's happen? Say they match you ni. Kilo happen. What could have caused it? Over 30 people. Just like that. Because of bag of rice. That happened though. But guess what? Few hours after that, those who survived, who never collected, they returned. They were hanging next to the gate of the same man's house where over 30 people just died. They returned. They were there waiting. Maybe they can bring the rest of the bag of rice and share it. There's nobody. No one is spared in the poverty, the economic destruction that APC, Ecpnomic, has brought upon Nigeria. And this is just the beginning.
Sisi mere tata na Okija maka ndị azụrụ asịrị jekwa ebe a mmadụ ka bụ Katọlik ndị mmadụ ka jukwuru ebe a ihe isi na gate ya nya anya na nne nọ na inside population nọ inside ọ karịrị akarị iji nke a egosi anyị na agụọ ka nkụ na Nigeria akụọ ka nkụ n'obodo now ejire m ebe a na wee chọpụta na ihe bụ ọnwụ a na-ekwu okwu ya bụla abịara sị na ndị mmadụ nọsị n'ofesi side ene n'aka akụkụ fensị ya ibe aka ndị mmadụ ju abịazie kpọpee gate wee bịasị ndị mmadụ batarazie n'ime ewe ha na-ekwozi onwe ha egwu onye ya aba ka ibi ya aba onye ọmụji aba wee kwobezie ụfọdụ ewee daa ndị mmadụ ụfọdụ azọbazie ọba dutu okwukwe ha na-ekwu ya kọsụrụ ndị ahụ n'ebe ahụ nwụsịrị anwụ ọpọ na ihe emekwala multitude of people ka na-abịajekwa ụfọdụ nụrụ na ndị nke ha nwụrụ anwụ ejebe mọchụarị ndị nke ha ka na ebe a ma ndị nke ha ji anya ya ha kara abịakwa na ihe abụsọ ndị mmadụ niile ka m bịa ka ngosi uru meshin na moto paakịrị ebe a Katọlik lelele ihe niile na-ele anya bụ meshin lelele ebe a na-ekwu okwu ya n'ime kọmpaụndụ a ka dị geti ka dị ndị mmadụ lelele nke a bụ ndị na-abịa abịa ihe ya bụ so meshin na moto lelele so meshin na moto kwefuru sọ ndị mmadụ agụọ ka nkụ n'obodo anyị ga-ebele ma ejiri ji bụrụ anyị kama na ọ dị unfortunate na o zutuzuru onwe ya mgbe lele na akụ mfụ ndị kara abịa agụọ ka nkụ n'obodo nwetara vidio biko metụrụ aka na chi ya bọtị asịsị mere tata na Okija maka ndị azụrụ asịrị jekwa ebe a mmadụ ka bụ Katọlik ndị mmadụ ka jukwuru ebe a ihe isi na gate ya nya anya na nne nọ na inside population nọ inside ọ karịrị akarị iji nke a egosi anyị na agụọ ka nkụ na Nigeria akụọ ka nkụ n'obodo now ejire m ebe a na wee chọpụta na ihe bụ ọnwụ a na
Nobody is spared. That is the reality in Nigeria. Was it last year or early this year that I saw our people rob a bus in Ibadan? This mini bus, right, was transporting bags of rice through a very busy road. Once people saw inside, bag of rice inside, they robbed the bus. That the guy had to like speed off, like to to run away with the leftover of the bags of rice in his in the bus. People are hungry. Like people are wretched, impoverished beyond what you can even imagine, beyond what they want you to believe in Nigeria right now. Even though some will tell you, there is money, there is, for example, they will tell you about how some people are spending money in clubs, how beer parlors are still having people drinking, like that, so as to cover up what is really going on. A young man was trying to help people by sharing his own kind of like rebagged bags of rice, okay? And this is what happened. That's the reality. Right now, online or offline, nobody is hearing anything right now than anybody who is just willing to give them something. Do give away. Do give away now. Some people have been messaging me and all of that stuff. Do give away. There is Christmas coming. There is a New Year coming. There is this and that. But that never used to be the case. It all started slowly and slowly until APC, Ekbe destroyed the economic fabric of Nigeria and then turned people to beggars who will now depend on them. Here you get, so that they can begin to offer, make them poor and begin to offer them food so that they can see you as their saviors. Say, do you know how many people that man is helping? Do you know how many lives that man don't save? Do you know the number of people that goes to his house to collect money, to collect food? I say, which man? Say that politician. Do you have an idea how that man became a philanthropist? By stealing from you, denying you what could have been your own, a commonwealth, shared among few crooks. Look at Ohando that is almost bankrupt at the end of 2022. Ohando that couldn't pay some of his own debts. They couldn't pay their debts to some of their vendors in 2022. Tinubu became your president in 2023. Ohando is so successful now that Ohando is paying millions of dollars to artists to come and sing for them at their end of the year party. Wizkid, Davido, Burna Boy, J-Boy, Fireboy, all these guys, they were paid millions of dollars to come and entertain you. And it's making the whole trend on social media right now. Yeah? From the company worth 70 billion or so Naira to a company that is now worth over 3 trillion Naira. In Naira, they are now multi-billion dollars oil company. All because Tinubu claimed to have removed their subsidy. Gave the money to them to buy and bring in fuel from Malta to Nigeria. And they are so rich right now. You are going through hell. Of course, your favorites, Davido, Burna Boy, Wizkid, they are in Nigeria right now, paid to come and entertain the rich criminals, the economic jackass, who have mopped up what should have been your commonwealth for themselves. And that's enough entertainment for you. That's enough satisfaction for you because you have no economic sense. You have no economic brain. You have no idea how the entire system is rigged against you. You don't. And that is why we'll keep having a lot of people dying because of a bag of rice. Here is what Solomon Kende Ibadan, Agodi Emperor, had to say about the children that died because of 5,000 Naira in Ibadan 2 days ago. Sorry for the poor audio, okay? That's the most they could get, I could get from them. It is a TV presentation where, you know, it was like the governor explained this kind of, you know, but this is the best I could get from them. Please manage it. Solomon Kende Ibadan.
Children, innocent souls. I remember when my father was on his deathbed. I got him so much and said that he would prefer that I should die. Look at me. And he looked at me and said, look, we have had a good life. He was going to 76, maybe few weeks, 3 or 4 weeks to 76, but I was, I think, 45. And he said, look, we have had a good life. You are just starting out. So if God asked me to come now so that you can make your own impact. But when I look at these children, it's even better for us to go and let those children, let them live. Maybe some of us, we've achieved some things. You know, potential president, the dream is dead. Potential inventors, so looking at all of that, for me, a bad day is the least thing after that tragedy. People may think, oh, okay, these things happen here. Yeah, it does. But this one is totally different because of the people involved. They are very innocent, and also because of the fact that this is something that we should have avoided. If we are involved, if we play a role very well, that live responsibly. So that's majorly not bad day for me this year, because we're seriously for money. This is it's more avoidable because if the organizers and all if they've done what they are supposed to do, don't invite people, no crowd control, no contact with the security agencies, and so there was no plan in place. And when this started, I mean, Honorable Commissioner for Health she's seated out there, and she sent me that message, and the chairman of the hospital management board, it was already too late. By the time they sent those messages, corpses of those children were already going to the mortuary. So it's just unfortunate, and it's something that we have to really learn. I mean, this year, 2020, two major avoidable incidences that led to loss of life. We started the year 16th of January with the explosion at Bodija. I mean, some people storing explosives in a residential area, and then the residents also, they've been seeing some of these things, and we said, look, if you see something, and then put the blame on the authority if we cannot do something about it. That's how we started.
Apologies again. The audio was really, really bad. I didn't even know it was going to come out too bad. So let's take it off. But that was him talking about the poor crowd control, a provision for security, and blah, 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 blah. And there was no provision for emergency sort of service, where, I mean, if you are going to have such a massive number of people are gathered in a single place, you should probably have provided stuff like ambulances and other, measures that you have to put in place. That is the state governor, okay? So somehow, if we put the blame on the state government that allows such gathering in the first place, right? The state government is putting it back on the organizers who, according to them, should have provided all those things. But where I live, it is the responsibility of the people in government to ensure our own safety. There's something called health and safety to certify that an event, right, can take place or go ahead. There is a department of government that must be sure that provision is made for any eventualities, okay? But not in Nigeria. So they are passing the buck left, right, and center, and those who died are dead. Anyway, the life of Nigerians is pretty much worth nothing. Not really. It doesn't worth anything. Until it happens to you, we never understand. Okay? And if you think your life is worth something that you can fight for, lucky you. You are probably a privileged one. We are talking about, tens of millions of people whose lives worth nothing to these guys. Except for during the elections to use them to validate their robbery. And anybody can receive the news. And to those of us who live abroad, a lot of you are saving the lives of your loved ones. A lot of our loved ones could have ended up in all those crowds, in any of those crowds, right? Yeah, I mean, you have no idea how deep the poverty that these guys have created in that contraption. You don't have no idea how deep it has gone, or how much of people it has attracted like magnets as we speak. It's so unfortunate, but it is Nigeria. And if you escape being, being trampled upon, stepped on, or get killed in a stampede in this season, you also need to watch. You also need to watch out for the men in black, the Nigerian police, who can pick you up anytime. Or they are kidnappers on their own, and we have two types of kidnappers. Okay, there is no record of how much Nigerian police extorted from people in 2024, but we have the record of how much the Fulani terrorists, the Boko Haram terrorists, and others extorted from the innocent Nigerians who are at the mercy of these terrorists. You can't be protected. You have to find your ways around it. And if you get kidnapped, then you have to also figure out how you are going to get out of it. Because right now, the terrorists in Nigeria, they are protected by these unseen hands, I have to say. Never in my life would I believe that in Nigeria will get to a stage where terrorists will have their own social media accounts on TikTok. Baba, terrorists, they go live on TikTok in Nigeria. No joke. Terrorists are displaying their wealth in Nigeria on TikTok, on social media. I mean, they can be traced. Yeah, they can be traced, but they won't be traced. Okay, so if you get kidnapped by a Fulani terrorist, you will pay ransom. If you get kidnapped by the police terrorist, you also pay ransom, but they have names for them. So the police, it is called bail. They will extort you, threaten you, lock you up until you pay or your family pay. To the Fulani terrorists in the bush, it is called ransom. But it's all ransom. Take a look at these young men who were picked up by the Nigerian police, and until they extorted them, and those who couldn't pay, they remained in detention for doing nothing. Imagine being locked up for doing nothing, right? Is that not abduction?
So guys, let me know, what did you guys do? Bro, what thing now do? What thing you do?
Pictures, small picture, just to snap fashion, street photo, content with phone.
That is why you're here with your phone.
They won't collect money pass phone. 50k, babe, 250k, 250. They won't collect money pass phone. Phone photography. No phone, you.
My phone. So,
street photographers using their phones to take pictures. Police kidnapped them. And for them to be free, they were told that they will pay between 20 and 50k, 50,000 naira, or you will stay in detention. Stay there. What law did we break? You broke the law of not breaking the law. So you have to pay before we let you go. Is that not kidnapping? It is Nigeria, man. And it is always the young people, the poor ones, that are the immediate victim. They are the ready-made victims. You know? But for the other kidnappers, those ones are flexing on TikTok. 2.23 trillion naira was paid to terrorists in Nigeria in 2024. Here is some of them displaying their cash on TikTok. And as for Kolu, Olololo Bugawan. That's your president, Bugawan. Let me see you, Bugawan. Olololo, Bugawan. Is about royalty. A lot of people get trampled on and died, or if that's your problem, man, forget it. It's been a great year for them. And it's looking like 2025 is going to even be a greater year for them. So you can continue to pray for a better Nigeria. Maybe someday that's going to happen. And if it doesn't, that's your problem. It is not theirs. Remember this woman, Rhoda Jetau. The story is quite unique, okay? They killed Deborah. Let me see if I can bring Deborah's... Deborah Yakubu. They killed her because, this was in Sokoto on the 12th of May, 2022. You know what? Just so you kind of remember what she looks like. I think Deborah's mom is now late. She was killed by her own classmates. This is the level of what you call the extremism in northern part of Nigeria. Okay, so I want to put an image up so that we can have that proper convo around it. Okay, so Deborah Yakubu. She was a student at one polytechnic in Sokoto. And give me a second, something I want to put up. She was a second year college student in, what do you call it? In one polytechnic in Sokoto. She made it to the world, or got to the world attention when she was bombed by our own colleagues. It wasn't an Islamic school per se, okay? It was supposed to be like, So she complained because our fellow students, let me use that, our fellow students, they were sharing Islamic content. All the way they would be forwarding Islamic something or Christian something, right? So they had a WhatsApp group, and that WhatsApp group was created for their class where they can share their assignments and information that has to do with their class, all right, in their WhatsApp group. So then she sent a voice note. She recorded a voice and said, you guys should stop sharing all this Islamic this and that here. Go and share that in private, or go and share it on another platform where you have all this is supposed to be a class, our class WhatsApp group where we're supposed to be sharing our assignments and all that. What is all this now? What is all this? Studenty. This one are not Alimajiri. They are not they are not like Boko Haram. They are students. They just read the fatwa now. Immediately they said they were going to kill her. They said we are going to kill you for insulting our religion. That's what they said. They said she was insulting their religion, their Islam. And like play, they started gathering in their school, started looking for her. So when they found her, the mob gathered and they started stoning her, beating her. Yeah, she ran. Imagine that she ran from a supposed hostel, ran to a place, they caught up with her and they beat her and then they set her ablaze. Students. This is not like one cleric told them to do it. They are students, fellow students like her. And they burnt her until she died. Nobody saved her. Not even the school security helped her. And they were so happy. They were brandishing it. It was one of them who was like, yes, we burnt her down, we burnt her, we burnt her. Don't say anything about our religion like that. If you say anything about our religion, we will kill you. Yeah, 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 yeah. With their faces on camera, on video. Those are our parents. Then came Rhoda Chatao. Rhoda, the mother of 5. Like all over the world where people reacted. He reacted too. Now, she didn't even say anything though. But there was a video. Somebody made a video and condemned the killing. So she now forwarded the video on WhatsApp. It's like you receive a video and you forward it to another person. And they forward it to another person. Do you know what happened after? The Sharia court, Sharia jihadist in Sokoto, they arrested her. Baba, sharp, Sharia court sentenced her to death for condemning the killing of Deborah. Shebi they talk say Sharia now only for Muslims. Sharia doesn't affect non-Muslims. Is that not what the lie they told us? When Obasanjo and his Olori Bruku government then approved Sharia in Nigeria. Is that not what they said? That if I am not a Muslim or Sharia no concern me, so you take your Sharia, go and deal with Sharia is just for those who are Muslims. So it's not for non-Muslims. So it was that not what they said? How can you now use Sharia to kill somebody who is not Muslim? How can you now use Sharia to judge somebody who is not Muslim? What the heck is going on? It happened though. All of their political, including Atiku. Atiku condemned the killing of Deborah. And guess what? All these Islamic fanatics from northern Nigeria, they started attacking Atiku. We'll show you. You will see. Yeah. Atiku quickly deleted the post. He deleted it. Didn't want to offend them. Who? People who are working for Bokwari, they supported the murderer, the killers of Deborah. They supported them. They said, if you want to call us extremists, call us extremists. We will not let anybody insult our Allah. How did that? Please don't post your Islamic stuff here. Go and post it somewhere else. How did that insult your Allah or your prophet? How? You bunch of terrorists. How? Political leaders, all these politicians, they supported them. Yes. They did. They all kept quiet. When they used the same Sharia in Sokoto to send the mother of 5 to death. For 18 months or more, they locked her up. They locked her up in Sokoto prison. Sharia locked this woman up for 18 months. Even like person where they go tell you say, you are just Islamophobic. It's because you don't like Islam. See, I am a Yoruba man from southern part of Nigeria, right? We have Muslims, we have Christians, okay? We do not fancy this line of extremism, even though it is gradually, creeping into Yoruba land now. Once you bring your extremism to any part of Yoruba land, you will be met with the same standard of violence in Yegara. I can tell you that for free. Yeah, you will be met with the same level of the same violence. People who are Christians in northern part of Nigeria have been silenced because they are easily being killed. And guess what? Most of their leaders themselves, they would rather be politically correct than stand up. Where they claim their persecution and all that. Do you know those who fought for this woman? This woman was not fought for by the Christians in Nigeria. Redeemed Church, Iroboye, Oledepo, and all these other big names, Kuka and the rest of them, none of them fought for this woman. Now, from outside Nigeria, a Christian organization from outside Nigeria, they have been the one fighting her case until 2-3 days ago, when she finally got a reprieve. And the entire case was quashed in a better court, well, in not a Sharia court. Like, what the heck? Nigeria has the highest population of Christians. The highest concentration of Christian population in the whole world, they are in Nigeria. Quite a sizable number for any country ever. Nigeria is exporting religion, Christianity. Nigeria is exporting it. You see all Nigerian preachers all over the place. None of them is bold enough to defend this woman in public or speak on her behalf ever. None, not a single one. They don't want to offend the terrorists in northern Nigeria. They don't want to offend them. Because they are not really Christians. They are just businessmen, pastorpreneurs. It was an organization from outside Nigeria that has been pushing a case, fighting, pushing, this and that, pressuring Nigerian government, pressuring the Sokoto government, pressuring them. They locked her up for condemning the death of this young woman. The killer of Deborah, right? They are walking free, by the way, as we speak. They are walking free, you know. I even heard, I think her mom later died from the outbreak of them losing their daughter to Islamic terrorists from northern Nigeria. And they are proud. The terrorists in northern Nigeria, they are proud. They will tell you, we'll kill you. Then they will turn around and begin to kind of say you hate Muslims. You are Islamophobic. You are Islamophobic, this and that. Say, shut up, man. You better keep it in that your northern Sharia north. Keep it there. That is the exact place that it defeats, and keep it there. We know there are some Olori Bruku Muslims in southern part of Nigeria, especially in Yoruba land, who are waiting for a time that they will also probably have an upper hand where they can kill people in the name of their prophet or in the name of Allah. But we are also watching you. Yeah. Once it gets to that stage, that's where we end it. Because we are not raised to be extremists or because of this your Abrahamic religions. No, we're not raised to be. We know there are wannabe terrorists in Yoruba land as well, in the name of religion. But we're also watching. When it gets to the stage where you can use mob action to kill people in the name of your prophet or in the name of your Allah, I tell you, because if it is allowed in Yoruba land, if it ever crosses that Ilorin, because we know that we have the extremists in Ilorin, they just haven't had the audacity to kill people yet. But that is it. Once it begins to come down the deep west, there will be resistance. There has always been resistance. You cannot kill for prophet, you cannot kill for Allah, you cannot kill for anybody. You are murderers, you are terrorists. There's nothing to describe you. Nothing. So the woman is free, and she's been celebrated of like, okay, finally. You know what I mean? I saw something too. I don't know if some of you have seen this. From Ilorin to Oyo. These ones are planning to launch a Sharia court in Oyo town. I am not from Oyo. I know Oyo is Yoruba land. And some of us should please begin to pay attention to. We have a poster of them that says Yoruba nation is going to be Islamic nation. Islamic nation of Yoruba Muslim nation. Now, like this, it is start to. So it is better we put this, we put the people of Yoruba land on notice. These fanatics and their antics In Lagos, they are already building Sharia courts in Lagos as well. They are working on how to make a Sharia part of their legal system in Lagos, in case if you need to know. But all of these are just a catalyst for problem. I did tell you. All of this, they are what do you call it? They are precursor to problems. I just said I should tell you. Sharia court in Yoruba land. Sharia for who? That was what they told them back then in 2002. Sonny Yerima in Zamfara. Alimodu Sherifu in Borono. They all came by with their Sharia nonsense, including Bafara. Bafara, which one was that guy from Sokoto? Sokoto or Kano? These were the promoters of Sharia, and they campaigned. Then they said their Sharia is for non-Muslims because Nigeria is meant to be a secular country where Christians, Muslims, and non-Muslims and non-Christians are existing. So therefore, you cannot use Islamic law to rule over people who are not Islamic, who are not Muslims. That is not, that's good. I mean, that is, what do you call that thing again? That is disaster. It's going to be a stepping stone to disaster. So we must put it out there. We know a lot of you are receiving this foreign funding to slowly but surely push this your Islamic agenda and all of that around the people unsuspectingly. But it was going to sound like people are unhinged. The moment you begin to want to meddle in the people's lives and the people's affairs using the collapsed or this fraudulent system in Nigeria to smuggle in your Islamization and other agenda like that, because we know that the intention is mostly not even for your Islam, it is for your personal evil. Majority of these proponents of all this nonsense, they do not believe in any Islam. They believe in subjugation. They believe in control. And most of this is for personal aggrandizement. It has nothing to do with their supposed Islam or in this regard. So that's what we're going to tell the world. Yoruba land is not an Islamic nation. We know that currently we have the pure weak men, low lives, who are currently holding political positions and the traditional institutions in Yoruba land, where you see a Yoruba Oba kneeling down before Adeboye, kneeling down there in front of a pastor, or bowing down in front of their mosque and the rest of that. That is not us. And a day is coming that all of that, right, will be wiped off the entire space of a Yoruba land. Yorubas are traditionalists. We are traditional and cultural people. And we are accommodating too. We're a place where you can be wherever you want to be. You want to be a Muslim? Great. You want to be a Christian? Fine. You don't want to be any of that? Also fine. It's a place where you have a live and let live. But when you begin to bring this, your fraudulent, deceitful Sharia through the back door, and you have the low men, the low life men, the weak men who are encouraging it, okay? Say for their own political gain or whatever other gain, personal gain, right? Just know that a time is coming that you are going to face a serious resistance. And there's no amount of deceit, takia, that you are going to use that will kind of sway us. None. So we are going to resist it. Even if they begin to kind of make it look like you can do it now. Just know that there is always going to be people that will do all they can to resist you. It is just for clarity. I saw that and I was like, Yoruba nation, Islamic nation, what is the correlation? And I like this is the start. Look at their names. Rafiu Adisabelo, Chairman Sharia Committee for your land. That's their phone number. Abdulmumini Hamzat, Chairman Muslim Community Oyo. So from Ilorin now to Oyo. And before you know it, they will push someone that will be a governor. And the next thing, they will turn it in, they will make it part of the law. And before you know it, they will begin to say, oh, Isba or your state, Isba or Osun state, Isba, Lagos state, and that's it. And it probably will be too late for you then until we actually fight a war, our own civil war, that we eradicate all this nonsense, you know. But we'll leave it at that. I was going to take calls. Maybe we should. I mean, we've had a few days without any interaction, so to say. So I am going to wrap it up that way, all right? And then I'll come back in a minute or two to take calls. This is now for those of you who might want to have, you know, had your own views to this conversation already tonight. I'll be back in a minute or two. So thank you. And also, if you are about to go, right, please like the broadcast, share it if you haven't already. When I come back, I will take calls. Thank you very much, brethren. So the line is opened. Okay. However, there is one thing. One sec, right? Yeah, the line is opened. So those of you might want to actually add your own take to this. So I'm trying to get it all opened, and I don't know if it's working fully as it should. Anyway. Okay, so one moment, I am going to be back. Just one moment.
That transmission line is a super highway. For generated electricity and power. They could not even make a down payment for a roasted corn. That transmission, the farmer will make more money. Your lunch will not be imported. Cassava gari, the farmers will make money. The dinner will be cassava by a while. Turn the so-called Yahoo boys to experts in manufacturing and creation of chips that intercept an organ.
Anyway, so I think there is a little bit of an issue with the line. It keeps dropping calls, unfortunately. So I am just going to probably have an early night break. And so are you. So thank you so much, everyone, for your time with me again this evening. I am going to see you some other time. And, that will be tomorrow. Good night.
Mayegun làwa mọ̀ làmọ̀ tó dòdòdò. Mayegun dayari Mayegun number one. Mayegun làwa mọ̀ làmọ̀ tó dòdòdò. Mayegun dayari Mayegun number one. Mayegun ti dé o ọ̀rẹ́ ara ìlú. Mayegun dayari Mayegun number one. Lórí Facebook lórí YouTube. Mayegun dayari Mayegun number one. Gbogbo bó ṣe ń lọ ni Mayegun já wa sí. Mayegun dayari Mayegun number one. Àṣírí ọ̀jẹ̀lú kì í bò níbẹ̀ o. Mayegun dayari Mayegun number one. Bó bá ṣe eré àní Mayegun máa wí. Mayegun dayari Mayegun number one. Ó sì tún ṣe eré wàá gbọ́ níbẹ̀ o. Mayegun dayari Mayegun number one. Mayegun dayari politico. Mayegun dayari Mayegun number one. Godfatherism kò sí lọ́rọ̀ Mayegun. Mayegun dayari Mayegun number one. Ẹ farabalẹ̀ sẹ́ o kẹgọ́rọ̀ lẹ́nu o. Mayegun dayari Mayegun number one. Àní Mayegun làwa mọ̀ tó dòdòdò. Mayegun dayari Mayegun number one. Àní ẹ̀sùn ràkì. Mayegun ti dé. Mayegun ti dé. Ọ̀jẹ̀lú ẹ̀sùn ràkì. Mayegun ti dé. Àní ẹ̀sùn ràkì. Mayegun ti dé. Lórí Facebook. Mayegun ti dé. Àní ẹ̀sùn ràkì. Mayegun ti dé. Lórí YouTube. Mayegun ti dé. Àní ẹ̀sùn ràkì. Mayegun ti dé. Bọ́ bàbá gbé wúrẹ́. Mayegun máa wí. Àní ẹ̀sùn ràkì. Mayegun ti dé. Ijó ìgbádìyẹ. Mayegun máa wí. Àní ẹ̀sùn ràkì. Mayegun ti dé. Pẹ̀sìdó bá rúfin o. Mayegun máa wí. Àní ẹ̀sùn ràkì. Mayegun ti dé. Kí gómìnà kówó jẹ. Mayegun máa wí. Àní ẹ̀sùn ràkì. Mayegun ti dé. Ọlọ́pàá ti ń darí bá. Mayegun máa wí. Àní ẹ̀sùn ràkì. Mayegun ti dé. Aṣòfin tí ń rúfin o. Mayegun máa wí. Àní ẹ̀sùn ràkì. Mayegun ti dé. Òkúra olóṣèlú. Mayegun máa wí. Àní ẹ̀sùn ràkì. Mayegun ti dé. Ọ̀jẹ̀lú ẹ̀sùn ràkì. Mayegun ti dé. Àní ẹ̀sùn ràkì. Mayegun ti dé. Mayegun ti dé. Gbogbo ọ̀jẹ̀lú ẹ̀sùn ràkì. Mayegun ti dé. Gbogbo ọ̀jẹ̀lú ẹ̀sùn ràkì. Ṣùgbọ́n ní bá ti ṣe èyí tó yẹ kí wọ́n ṣe, ọmọ bá dèrò ní fi wọ́n níran o. Mayegun ti dé. Gbogbo ọ̀jẹ̀lú ẹ̀sùn ràkì. Mayegun ti dé. Gbogbo ọ̀jẹ̀lú ẹ̀sùn ràkì. Ṣùgbọ́n ní bá ti ṣe yìí tó yẹ kí wọ́n ṣe, ọmọ bá dẹ̀rọ̀ ò ní fi wọ́n níran. Wọ́n fowó bẹ́ẹ̀ o. Mayegun ó sọ pé wọ́n ò fẹ́ bẹ́ẹ̀. Wọ́n fowó bẹ́ẹ̀. Máyégún ó sọ pé wọ́n ò gbẹ́bẹ̀ oníkan ṣáàtì ṣe èyí tó yẹ kí wọ́n ṣe fáwọn ará ìlú tó gbé wọn débẹ̀ o àyè.
Máyégún ti dé gbogbo ọ̀jẹ̀lú ẹ̀ súnra kì. Máyégún ti dé gbogbo ọ̀jẹ̀lú ẹ̀ súnra kì. Ṣùgbọ́n ní bá ti ṣe yìí tó yẹ kí wọ́n ṣe ọmọ bá dẹ́rọ̀ ò ní fi wọ́n níran.
Kì máa yí ṣe eré ọ̀rọ̀ yìí kì í ṣe ẹ̀fẹ̀. Kì máa yí ṣe eré ọ̀rọ̀ yìí kì í ṣe ẹ̀fẹ̀. Ẹni bá ti lè lẹ́bọ̀ lẹ́rù o ọmọ bá dèrò kàṣàyè tú wọn síta.
Máyégún ti dé gbogbo ọ̀jẹ̀lú ẹ̀ súnra kì. Máyégún ti dé gbogbo ọ̀jẹ̀lú ẹ̀ súnra kì. Ṣùgbọ́n ní bá ti ṣe yìí tó yẹ kí wọ́n ṣe ọmọ bá dẹ́rọ̀ ò ní fi wọ́n níran.
Tẹnitẹni ọmọ Máyégún ọ̀rẹ́ ara ìlú mọ̀mọ́ ni mo fọlọ́hún sọ ẹ̀ bá kìlẹ́bù. Lóòótọ́ olódodo ìlú ọ̀tá ìlú mọ̀mọ́ ni ìwọ ṣá máa ń ṣọ́ra kò sì mọ́ bẹ̀rù. Bọ́tà ń lè rí bóníṣègùn lé káwọn mọ̀mọ́ fi ṣera wọn ni ó ti dẹrùn tí wọn ò gbọ́dọ̀ sè mọ́bẹ̀. Èèpo ọ̀bọ lọmọ bá dérò tàjẹ́ ò gbọ́dọ̀ jẹ́ ó ti dọba lórí àbínú ẹni kò sì mọ́ bùyà. Àìsíwọ́lu ní ẹnìkẹ́ ìgbódì ẹyin lábàrá o ó kó ẹni tó bá dán o àkàmù. Máyégún ti dé gbogbo ọ̀jẹ̀lú ẹ̀ túnra kì. Máyégún ti dé gbogbo ọ̀jẹ̀lú ẹ̀ túnra kì o. Ẹni bá ti ṣe yìí tó yẹ kí wọ́n ṣe ọmọ bá dèrò òní fi wọ́n níran o.
Máyégún ti dé gbogbo ọ̀jẹ̀lú ẹ̀ súnra kì. Máyégún ti dé gbogbo ọ̀jẹ̀lú ẹ̀ súnra kì. Ṣùgbọ́n ní bá ti ṣe yìí tó yẹ kí wọ́n ṣe ọmọ bá dẹ́rọ̀ ò ní fi wọ́n níran.